The Predator franchise, spanning multiple films, comics, and literary works, has introduced several awesome and uber cool protagonists who have faced off against the formidable extraterrestrial hunters known as predators. From the jungles of Guatemala to the urban landscapes of cities, men like Arnold Schwarzenegger's Dutch, Danny Glover's Mike Harrigan, and Adrian Brody's Royce have shown their unique skills and resourcefulness in their relentless battle against the honorable alien hunters. Even Amber Midthunder's Naru was equally resilient and skilled, but Royce's challenge was somewhat more difficult because he had to face off against not one, but 3 predators, and those were actually super predators. Furthermore, these guys did not follow the Yautja Code of Honor and were essentially bad blood predators. We know that he and Isabel survived at the end of the 2010 movie, but what happened to them after that? How long did they survive? Did they escape from the alien planet, or did they die fighting other monsters? In this video, we'll explore exactly that. I'll begin with a concise brush-up of the events of Predators, and then explore the one-shot comic titled Predators: Preserve the Game, which serves as a sequel to the movie. Let's hop in, shall we? Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means an awful lot. Thank you. Let's begin. The prologue: Strangers in a Strange Land. The 2010 film Predators started with the protagonist Royce free-falling into an unknown jungle. Upon landing, he meets several other people who somehow met the same fate, including Isabel, an Israeli Defense Force sniper. The unfamiliar jungle seemed quite alien, and I mean that was literally the case. It had a strange monument, several cages but without any occupants, and many deadfall traps that seemed to have been the work of a Green Beret. And only when the group of humans reached a higher ground did they realize that they were far, far from Earth. But where were they? Well, they'd all been transported to what we now know as the Game Preserve planet, and were to serve as the game for the super predators. It wasn't long before the group came across the super predators, led by a predator named Berserker. The film then goes on to show just how difficult it was for the humans to survive the ordeal and the super predators. And by the end, it was just Royce and Isabel who survived. In fact, they kind of did that in style as they managed to decapitate Berserker. But that wasn't the end of it. The predator ship that was supposed to be their ticket out had been destroyed, and to make things worse, they saw more parachutes landing from the sky, a sure sign that more predators were arriving on the Game Preserve planet. Naturally, the couple headed straight into the jungles for safety, and that's where the film ended. But that's also where the comic Predators: Preserve the Game Preserve the Game: Surviving Life. The comic begins with Royce wearing just a pair of trousers, blood all over his body, some of which is his, and some of it belonging to the alien creatures he had decapitated and kept the heads of as trophies, just as predators do. So you could say that in a way he was trying to imitate his captors. I mean, we all do that. The reason why the English language has so many French words is because the French once ruled over the English. So, you know, we always try to become what oppressed us, in the hopes that doing so would help us defeat the oppressors. Anyway, I'm digressing. So Royce had been on the planet for 2 months now and had been watching the skies, waiting for the monster's ship to return to the planet. He says that one of the ships did land a few days before, but he couldn't get on it because Isabel was missing and he had to find her. He calls it a stupid move, which kind of tells us that he was willing to leave Isabel behind if it meant he could go back to Earth. And honestly, being stuck in a place like the Game Preserve planet would do that to you. Selfishness is survival in an environment like that. Royce says that he could barely remember his own name, and all he did was kill any and everything that came his way. He was the king of the goddamn hill he now called his home, but he was also sure that sooner or later, the predators would return to try and knock him off his throne. But he was also quite certain that if they returned at all, he would force them to take him home, to Earth. It's not like the ships haven't been around, it's just that they don't land. They simply drop more and more alien creatures, which Royce kills one by one, and then they drop new ones. He begins to feel that the predators have been keeping him sharp and alert by throwing new targets at him every now and then. He had spent so much time in the place and killed so many beasts that he even scavenged armor for protection, but it was a bit cumbersome. The place was playing twisted games with Royce's mind, and he was beginning to feel that he would end up becoming a loner on a planet full of monsters, or worse, he would become a dead loner, much like the Navy SEAL Noland from Predators. And it's at this point that Royce witnesses another dropship. At this point, the scene shifts to Isabel for the first time in the comic. She was hunting a furry tiger-like creature, but but this guy made tigers look tame. But she was an extremely skilled sniper and probably never missed a shot, easily taking down the creature. But why did she kill the creature even when it posed no immediate danger? Well, she was hunting for food. Royce approached her, but something was wrong with him and he fell unconscious before her. He remained that way for about 3 days and woke up to find that Isabel had treated him. Also, after he wakes up, Isabel tells him, "I haven't seen you in weeks, and you come back to just die at my door?" Clearly, these two had been doing the hunting alone, in their separate capacities and not as a team. Thanks to Isabel's remedies, Royce's infection was gone and he was free to kill something else. But Royce had had his realization. He knew that if he spent one more day alone in that jungle, he would end up becoming crazy. So now, he wanted to spend his days alongside Isabel. Royce was lying down in a bed of leaves and Isabel joined him. It was night and the sky was filled with billions of twinkling lights and the 3 bright moons of the game preserve planet, and the two of them made love. But the moment fleeted away because a creepy old predator surprised them. You may think the dude was staring at them while Royce and Isabel did it, but no. The predator actually came to drop predator armor and weapons. To their surprise, the stuff was smaller in size, scrawny even, and Isabel noticed that it was probably meant for Royce to wear. But why would a predator leave a whole set of armor for Royce? Of course, something was up. Meanwhile, a different predator drops from another dropship, but this guy was different, not your run-of-the-mill hunter. This predator had 4 arms and is known to the world as the 4-armed predator, a monstrosity in the truest sense of the term. Although Royce and Isabel did not know what they were going to face, they were smart enough to make a plan against the impending threat. Royce remembered a place close to a ravine that had a waterfall nearby. He suggested Isabel should stay on the waterfall with her rifle while Royce lured the monster to her line of sight, but Isabel was apprehensive because his plan would have turned into a suicide mission if she missed her shot, as there would be nowhere for Royce to escape to. Poor Royce had started to lose it. In his opinion, the predators saw him as their champion and wanted him to fight against their strongest warrior, and well, he wasn't quite wrong there. Anyway, he also believed that the predators would allow the couple to go home once he defeated this new warrior. But before they could actually execute their plan, the 4-armed predator attacked. Despite the armor, Royce was no match for the 4-armed predator's might and ferocity. They thought it was best to run with their lives and come back another day, but the predator pursued them. The armor helped Royce in the run-through. He jumped with Isabel almost 1,000 feet below, but the impact's force was diffused. His knees didn't break, and it conserved Royce's energy. Furthermore, the armor made him faster and more agile, which was great because all he had to do at that point was run, and run as far away from the predator as possible. Royce brought Isabel close to the waterfall in a bid to hide from the predator, but he found them anyway. Royce used his new weapons to start a fire in the jungle, which was all but a sorry attempt to buy some time, but that's exactly what they did. Additionally, they were now in the position to execute their initial plan, with Royce down below and Isabel on the waterfall, waiting to take her shot. Royce was someone who had always worked alone, but he knew that this time around, he needed the help. He needed any and all the help he could get, actually. Anyway, just as they expected, the 4-armed predator took the bait and showed up. Royce was a skilled fighter, and the armor almost made him as formidable as the predator himself, and the predator helmet he was wearing actually helped him to anticipate the adversary's attacks. He managed to slice the predator's leg, spilling his green blood into the water, and if it bleeds, it can be killed. But this was a two-way street. The predator could kill Royce as well. The magnificent hunter held Royce between his arms, waiting to land the final blow, and just then, a gunshot echoed through the ravine. Isabel had taken her shot, saving Royce's life yet again, but of course, a single shot couldn't take down the mighty hunter. Both Royce and Isabel opened fire on him with their weapons and managed to take down the 4-armed predator once and for all. A week later, Royce was still healing from his wounds. He didn't know how long they were stranded on the game preserve planet, but something he knew for sure was that either he was going back home with Isabel or he was going to die alongside her on this alien rock. So that's the story of Royce and Isabel after the events of Predators. They have survived for now, but we don't know what fate has in store for them. We don't even know if they ever get back to Earth or die on the game preserve planet, but from what we've seen in the movie and this comic, Royce and Isabel make an awesome team and can take down just about any threat together. Do you think their story should be explored in another Predator movie sometime in the future? Or are you of the opinion that they should be left to their own devices? Let us know in the comment section down below and we'll see you there. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one, be safe out there, and thanks for watching.